Hey, what's up? This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And in this video, I want to talk about Texas having an overwhelming amount of people who are getting their assets frozen, uh, namely bank accounts frozen and seized by debt collectors. Like this is at an all-time high. And the thing about it with Texas is that they don't allow garnishments. So a debt collector, if they win a judgment against you, they couldn't garnish your wages, and that was like a protection, a big, huge protection that a lot of people in Texas had, and there's some other states that also don't allow garnishments, but the debt collectors are now using a strategy to be able to basically wreak havoc on individuals in Texas by using asset freeze, asset seizures, bank account seizures. They are actually doing it. They are skip tracing credit reports with Experian, TransUnion, Equifax to see how they can, to see if that individual has assets that they can seize. And so you can look here. This is from fiscal 2019, and it actually went up. But they have justice courts, district courts, and county courts. Now, these here are the ones that they would normally file the lawsuits in, but in Texas they have something called justice courts. So look at what this is all about. So justice courts, often known as People's Court, that's crazy, People's Court, and you have a TV show called People's Court, have become the preferred venue for filing consumer debt collection lawsuits in Texas. In fiscal 2019, over 290,000 new debt collection lawsuits were filed in Texas justice courts, more than twice the number of debt collection cases filed in district or county uh, courts combined. Now, let's look over what these courts are all about. And you can basically say it's like being in people's court because they don't expect you to know a lot about the law, but and it's also allowing debt collectors to not have so much expense by having uh, attorneys always have to show up. They could just basically file paperwork. So Texas law establishes that justice courts cannot require parties to be presented by an attorney and cannot be so complex that the reasonable person without legal training would have difficulty understanding and applying the rules. They are intended to enable parties without legal training to effectively engage in the court process in support of a just outcome. So debt collectors found, I don't want to say like a loophole, they just started taking advantage of something that Texas had available. But this is the deal. And the reason why this was like a big uh, you know income, what I'm trying to search the word, it was a big deal for the debt collectors, is that when they combined this with most people not showing up to court, they found out that this was just uh, like a windfall of opportunity for them. So right here it says 61% of all debt collection judgments were default judgments. So you got default judgments, 235,541 default judgments. Agreed judgments was just where the person showed up and they were like, "Hey, I'm going to lose anyway." And then these were people who went to had a trial hearing and they lost, and trial by jury they lost, and other dispositions, which could be arbitration. So they knew, combined with having a justice court and that most people would not show up to court, that they were going to be able to win these cases with and lower their expense. that they would have on going after people in court. So this was like it just made it something that was very easy for them. So now let's continue reading on here. During 2020, despite a moratorium on issuing default judgments between April 9th and May 18th due to the COVID pandemic and a 21% decrease in new cases filed, the total number of default judgments in debt collection lawsuits in Texas increased by 1,738 over the previous year and made up 65% of all debt collection judgments. So you can see here, even though they had the moratorium in 2019 to 2020, it still increased. And they had an example of a lady here. They call it like a writ of garnishment, which is what I'm going to get into talking about right now. So in Texas, this is what so the debt collectors, you're seeing what debt collectors are taking advantage of with this justice court. But let me tell you what they're also utilizing, which is really the main reason why I'm making this video, is that the debt collectors in Texas and the other states that allow that don't allow garnishments, what they're doing is they're having uh, getting accounts frozen in their seasoned bank accounts. And the way that they're doing this is first they get the judgment against the individual, and then they do the skip tracing on the accounts. They do it by looking at the credit reports, and they want to see what type of assets that individual has. And then once they see that they maybe are paying their credit cards, that they might have a pretty good job, and and then the other thing is that they have a bank account. Then they go to court, and then they want to get permission from the court to start trying to seize assets. So they'll go into court and they'll say, "Hey, judge, we have this judgment against this individual. We believe that they have these assets and we want to seize them." But what they have to do, and this is the tricky part of what they have to do, they have to send someone out to give notice to that individual, because they don't want to just all of a sudden wake up and you have this seizure on your account. You're trying to buy gas or you're trying to get groceries and all of a sudden your debit card isn't working, or you write a check and they're bouncing all over town. So what they do is they send out these processors to uh, notify you. And where the problem has been coming in is that if you don't answer your door, they leave it on the doorstep, or you don't get it. They have 3 times to do this. And some, I'm not going to say that they're all doing it, but some people are claiming that they have never received the information, that it was never left in their mailbox, which is illegal for them to just stick anything into your mailbox. And if you live in an apartment, it's the locked mailbox, then there's no way that they can do it. They might just leave the paper there. But they don't show proof of you ever, or the individual ever, getting the information. And next thing you know, all of a sudden, you have a receiver that's uh, attached your bank account, and they're taking funds out of your bank account. This is actually happening in Texas today to a lot of people. It is going crazy there right now. People are waking up and their bank accounts have been seized. And there's several attorneys that are down there that work with on the other side with consumers, mainly with bankruptcy. But what they're doing is they're saying, hey, you're going to have to file uh, I forget what they call it, but you're going to have to file a notice with the court to get this put on hold so you can potentially get your funds back. And then people are wondering if they should put money into that account, or do they need to go get another bank account. Like, it just really scrambles people up. Uh, so one benefit that used to be for Texas, where they couldn't garnish your wages, is turning out to be even worse, because they disrupt your bank account, at least with a garnishment. You know what they're going to take, and then you can deal with it that way. But they can't go dipping into your bank account. Yeah, they can take money out of your paycheck, but there's kind of like a layer of protection. And people in Texas right now are like going crazy because they're like, this layer of protection. Yeah, we had this layer of protection, but uh, what the debt collectors are able to do now is even worse because they could just seize and take money from you and say you were saving like
New visitor.
$5,000 in your account. You got your rainy day fund, and you got some money saved, and all of a sudden it's all gone. That people are waking up and that is happening. So the remedies or the solutions, number one is
Returning
always to
visitor.
stay in communication with the debt collector. When you stay in communication with the debt collector, they cannot
New
move
visitor.
forward on certain things that they can move forward on uh, if you don't keep in communication with them. If you remember what I just said, they try to submit that paperwork. They get that try to submit the paperwork to you to notify you that they're going to try to seize your assets or your bank account, money in your bank account. They have to send that communication. If you had a communication open with them, you would know that that's going to happen, and it would. In From what I've read and what I've seen, from my own knowledge and what I've seen other attorneys doing in Texas, is that they're telling people keep the communication open, and you need to start looking at doing settlements on those accounts because this will devastate you if you end up losing all of your money in there. So if you have that situation, number one, they're suing you, trying to take you to court to sue you. You're going to need to file your response to that court summons, regardless if they take you to judicial court or justice court or to county court. You have to do that regardless. If you don't do it, you're just setting yourself up to lose automatically. In your response, you have a right to submit uh, your response to the debt validation. If a third party debt collector buys it, you can submit to get all of the information to show, to make them prove every aspect of the debt, including balances, charges, everything. So, and how they end up taking control of the debt, how they end up getting your personal private information. You get to get all of that info. You get to request all of that information. So it gives you at least a fighting chance of being able to at least get it minimized or to get it dismissed. Okay, so I wanted to make everyone aware of this that is happening, and I'm going to get the other states also. Hold on one second. Okay, here are the states. This is right here on Google. Everything is at a keyboard's uh, only a keyboard and Google away from a search. So Pennsylvania, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Texas do not allow garnishments at all except for tax, debt, child support, federally guaranteed student loans, and court-ordered fines or restitution. Those are the only things that the only garnishments that they allow. So if you have a debt collection
New visitor.
lawsuit from a third party or even the original creditor, we can help you with that. If it's with the original creditor, it would basically be where we would do a validation of that debt and try to get it minimized and get you set up for a settlement. Settlements are coming in, and it depends on the creditor, depends on the debt collector, anywhere between 25 to 50%. If you have a lump sum, if you don't, and you're going to make payments, it's going to be in the 80 to 100% range, depending on the debt collector. Uh, if you, and I have the links below this video if you need help with that. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different. If you need your credit reports and scores, please go to the website your3scores.com. And if you have debt collectors that are at the beginning stages of coming after you, where they're sending you that 30-day letter, I provide you the statute of limitations letter, the debt validation letter, and a cease and desist collection activities letter that you can use to stop debt collectors. The statute of limitations letter is where you check the statute of limitations for collecting a debt in your state. It's different for all states. You can go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com, on my blog, type in statute of limitations. You'll see a page that will pop up and show you the statute of limitations for debt in your state. Thank you for your time. Make sure that you please subscribe to the channel, ask your questions and comments. Thank you. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.